Hi, and welcome to Danny After Dark. If you're new here, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss a notification or a new episode. Tonight, we have a very special guest, Hope Hooton. Hope is an amazing woman with an amazing story. So she is somebody who took the most unthinkable tragedy and has turned it into her now being an incredible advocate and author. She is a huge part of the Voices Against Filicide podcast, as well as the Alec and Lydia Act. And most recently, she is an author of her new book, There's Still Hope, A Journey of Adversity, Tragedy, and Unshakable Faith. And that is available now. I had the honor and privilege of meeting Hope at CrimeCon Denver, and tonight I have the honor and privilege of welcoming her to Danny After Dark. So without further ado, welcome Hope Hooton. Hi, Hope. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you, Danny?
Good. Thank you. And thank you for being here. I'm so excited to have you on to discuss all of the things that you have been doing, and most notably, most recently, your book, which backstage you showed me you have a copy. Can you hold that up?
There you go.
That is amazing. That is amazing. So we are going to dive into that book and so much more. Before we do, again, I was able to meet you at CrimeCon through Rachel and Heather from the Like Mother, Like Murder podcast. Maybe a month or so ago, I had the girls on and they talked about their podcast and a little bit about you and kind of their connection with you. So we're going to talk about that tonight, and it'll be from your perspective of linking with them. But before we get to the kind of podcast advocate author route, tell us a little bit about you and, where you're from.
Yeah, so I'm Hope. I'm originally from Michigan and born and raised here in the Mitten State and the Great Lakes State. And I was a teacher before doing all of this advocacy work and everything. That was my passion, was teaching and teaching special education. And so, yeah, I've loved that. And that's a little bit about me.
You are so modest. You're just like, oh, I did this. And yep, that's my story. What grade special education? Because that is hard work.
I taught grades kindergarten through 8th grade, not all at the same time. This was over a span of 10 years. And then I did 2 years of special education case managing. So I did all of the paperwork behind the scenes and ran all of the IEP meetings and all of that as well.
Oh my gosh. That is incredible work. I loved
it.
We could do a whole show just on that.
I loved it.
Goodness.
Yeah.
So you, one of the things that I noticed when I met you at CrimeCon was it's like on the one hand, you were there, you were on a mission, you had your purpose of what you were trying to get while you were at CrimeCon and get accomplished. But then the other side of you that I kind of got to see, like behind the scenes, if you will, was like, I thought you were one of the most kindest people that I've met. You had like the sweetest laugh and the most beautiful smile. And like I left and I'm just like, I know why Hope's here and what she's trying to get out of it. But like, it was just, with that being said, like how you're able to be so many things based on like what you've been through, and we'll talk about that. It's just a testament to you in the strength and resiliency that you have, and that you've taken something so horrific and tragic and turned it into what you're doing now, which is incredible work. But
thank you.
Let's take a step back for maybe people that didn't listen to Rachel and Heather when they were on here and they kind of talked a little bit about you. How did you link up with them, and kind of going from there, sharing your story, and kind of, can you tell my audience a little bit about that for those who might not know?
Yeah, so I reached out. I saw Rachel and Heather's Instagram account with Like Mother Like Murder and their TikTok account. And I reached out because I saw the episode that they did with Brandy Morey Poles and the loss of her son, Rowan Morey. And I reached out and got a hold of Rachel and kind of shared a little bit about my story, stated that I listened to that podcast episode and that I would be interested and coming on Like Mother Like Murder and sharing my story. Mind you, this was very early on in my grief journey. And I think it was like in October of 2024. So not even a year out, I was on that podcast. And from there, we just built a friendship. They had meetings with Brandy and I and Rachel, and via like Zoom, where we would all three of us come together and talk about, filicide and talk about our journeys. And Rachel is just kind of there to support Brandy and I through those meetings. It was kind of like our own little grief session. And then we did a couple other podcasts with Rachel and Heather on Like Mother Like Murder. Brandy and I did together. And then it was maybe back in, I don't know, last year in March sometime, that I was like, oh, I think I want to start a podcast. But then my next thought was, I don't know how to do that. Never mind. And then about a week later, I got a text message from Rachel stating, you know what? I've had this crazy idea that you should start a podcast. And I was like, oh my goodness, like what? And I jumped on it because I was like, oh, that's awesome. Like, Rachel, you can be my co-host. And she's like, she shut that down right away. She was like, nope, you're going to do the hosting and I can edit for you and publish all the stuff and do all the background behind the scenes stuff. But you're going to host it. You're going to create all the episodes. That's all you. But she's like, I can do all the background work. And I was like, well, that's great, because I love to talk. And that's honestly one of my God-given gifts, is talking to people. And so I was like, okay, let's try it. And she just helped me along the way. We did season 1 of the podcast, Voices Against Filicide. And then we stepped into season 2, which was a completely different time, I guess, where I did interviews. Instead of season 1, I was just talking about cases. Season 2, I actually brought on people and interviewed them, legislators, behavioral health people, child safety advocates, all of those kinds of people. So it was great.
That is incredible. For those who don't know what filicide is, can you give us a description of what that is?
Yeah, so filicide is the intentional act of a parent or caregiver murdering their own child or children. That is the definition. And so about 97%, 98% are filicides with the parents involved, and about 2% is about that caregiver. Those are the ones that are the perpetrators. So about 98% are the ones that, the parent is supposed to be that caregiver, and something happens, something snaps, and they take the child's life. We know in research that 60% of fathers commit filicide, and about 40% of mothers. And within that 60% of fathers committing the filicide, about 98% of those are within family court dynamics. So that could be child custody, that could be separation, that could be going through a divorce. So it's really important that our family court systems understand the dynamics of a marriage within family court, and how the dynamics of abuse and coercive control can lead to filicide.
Those are shocking statistics. That is, I did not know that. And naively, I didn't know the definition of filicide until I met Rachel and Heather. I knew of what was, but I didn't know the definition for it. And then at CrimeCon, having Rachel and Heather right next to me and people walking by and hearing them saying, have you heard of filicide? So many people haven't either. And it's like, now that I know it, I'm just like, how do people not know it? It's so important.
So important. We want filicide to be as common as the word suicide, right? And that's our goal. You know, we want people to be aware of it. We want to say the word filicide and for you to understand exactly what that is without giving you the definition. Just like if I was to say, oh, you know, suicide, you know what that is without me explaining what it is. And so that's one of our missions, is to make it you know, embedded in our culture, to bring awareness to it, to make it stop, right? Or to lessen it. And that's why I'm working tirelessly to do that, because of what happened to me.
Yeah. So very quick shout out. So Mr. Beckham is here in the chat. So Mr. Beckham is my weekend co-host, and he was at CrimeCon too. So he was at my booth and next to us when Rachel and Heather were taking over the empty booth, if you will, and kind of passing everything out. So so thank you, Beckham, for being here and supporting Hope. And Beckham will be with us at CrimeCon this year.
Awesome.
So yep, you'll get to hang out with him. My apologies in advance. So everybody in the chat, if you guys have questions for Hope at the end, keep that in mind, and we'll do a little, you know, ask a few questions if you guys have any. But so you, Hope, had mentioned in good detail a lot of the statistics that I was not aware of, as well as what filicide is. Can you speak a little bit to how that impacted you and your family, that personal story?
Yeah. So filicide is really impacted my family. I was going through a divorce, and my estranged husband had a background of domestic violence history towards myself, as well as mental health concerns, you know, behavioral health crisis concerns. And so all of those concerns were raised to the courts. And just about 2 weeks after a behavioral health crisis that he experienced, where he was supposed to be taking care of Alec and Lydia, so they were in his care, he called 911 on himself and was speaking of demons and cults, and thought that myself and our church were the Church of Satan. And he stated that he was told to sacrifice the kids and myself, but he chose Jesus. This was all relayed in dispatch notes when he was on the phone with the dispatcher when he called the police on himself. So he was very paranoid, not in his right mind. Before this, you know, the issues with the behavior, or the issues with the domestic violence and stuff, were really prevalent in our marriage, but no behavioral health concerns. So this spiral of this issue of psychosis, and later on was diagnosed with bipolar with psychosis when he was in that hospital stay for 9 days. He never had any of that prior to our separation. So this was very concerning to me, because it was like a completely different person. Like I was abused by him, obviously, and all the factors and all the ways of abuse I've experienced by him, but never any behavioral health issues. He was gainfully employed for the majority of our marriage, had a really good job as an engineer, really well liked. But those are the factors that people say now, and research says that when these filicide cases happen, that they're the most unlikely people that you would encounter on the street. You wouldn't know that your next door neighbor could do this, right? It's a normal person. It's not somebody that, you know, has usually drug addiction or anything like that. You know, it's a stand-up citizen. And so basically, that's why I say, like, the domestic violence and the filicide are related. in the statistics is because when that perpetrator, that abuser of domestic violence, loses control of the family, they then end up committing an act of filicide because they lose control and they don't have control over the family anymore, over their wife, over their children. And so they do the ultimate act of murdering them. And that's what happened in my case. My estranged husband, after he was granted unsupervised visitation after that 9-day hospitalization stay, he was in the care, or the kids were in the care of him about 7 months later. And the act of filicide occurred where he murdered them and then took his own life.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And usually in a lot of the filicide cases, there are some that the perpetrators are still alive and they're in prison or going through a trial. There are some currently in the news right now that are going through that process, but a vast majority of perpetrators of this act of filicide also commit suicide.
That's, I go back to what you say about the type of individual where this happens, because like you said, it could be our neighbor. Mm-hmm. And one of the things I talk about here on this channel, it's a saying I say all the time, but I'm like, people want monsters to look like monsters and they don't. It's almost like we want to be able to spot a certain type of criminal or whatnot in advance and be like one step ahead, but that's not the way it is. And no. This is another one of those examples of this could be anybody. This mm-hmm. could be our neighbor. This could be somebody, our coworker or whatnot. Mm-hmm. And that is, it's just so scary. It is.
He worked for, companies. He was an employee, he was a member of the church. We were members of the church. Our faith was very important to us. And all of this was going, even before the filicide, all of the domestic violence stuff was going on behind the scenes, mm-hmm. and nobody knew, because on Sundays, or we were active members of the church. We always helped out. I always hid everything, right? I would wear shirts that would cover my bruises. I would try not to limp if there was a bruise on my leg that really hurt or whatever. Nobody knew anything. The only time that somebody knew was the day that I asked for the divorce. He threatened suicide in front of the children. And so I called 911 to report that, and for his safety, to get him some help. And so since I did that and I was asking for a divorce, I went ahead and called my sister and my aunt. And even on the phone call talking to them, they had no idea, no clue. They were like, what do you mean you're getting a divorce? What do you mean Brock's been abusive? What do you mean he threatened suicide? They had no idea. It was like I dropped a bomb. They couldn't even comprehend. They were like, what are you talking to me about right now? So, yeah.
And sadly, that is not unique. That is very, very common.
We hide it because we want to, first of all, at the very beginning of the abuse, we want to protect our abuser, because there's a thing called trauma bonding. I'm sure you've heard about trauma bonding, but it's where your brain literally gets in this cycle of, okay, abuse, but I know that, the next part is going to be, he's going to love me. He's going to stop abusing. And that's why it's trauma, right? Because you're bonded because of the cycle of abuse. And so, I had that, and I protected him a lot. I gave a telltale sign for your audience. If somebody that you're going, say, to an event with or out to eat or whatever, and there's this dynamic between a couple that doesn't make sense, that one person is, mocking the other person for whatever it might be, and getting a kick out of laughing at them, or making them share a meal instead of getting their own meal, or anything like that. Those are telltale signs that there's abuse behind the scenes going on. Because they're obviously not going to sit there and do like physical abuse, but those are telltale signs of coercive control. And, coercive control is defined by somebody having power over someone else. And so like Brock had power over me and my autonomy was taken away. I didn't have any autonomy. I didn't have any choice in any decision that was made, especially further on into our relationship. I get asked a lot, well, why did you let him do that? Why did you do that? Because I had no autonomy. It didn't matter if I said no. He didn't care. He would do it anyways.
I just got so angry at what you just said in regards to people saying why did you, like so much you, not him, but why did you, like putting it on you. Like you allowed it, like why didn't you stop it when that's not the right
Exactly.
That's horrific. That anybody who says any type of
but it happens all the time, right?
I mean,
sure they say all the time with domestic violence survivors, the number one thing is our friends and family not knowing what to say, well, why didn't you leave sooner? Well, it's not like we could open the door and like just leave. Like that's not an option. Like there's so much control in the situation that you can't freely leave because your brain is telling you if you leave, either you're going to get hurt or the children are going to get hurt, or he's going to use the children against you and coercive control and use them as a pawn. Like these are all things that happen. And that those happened to me, right? He was trying to gaslight me so much at the very end before we separated that he literally was like, well, I'll call Department of Child Services on you if you leave, because I'll tell them that you hurt the kids or whatever it was, which was not true, right? But he was trying to flip the script on me and make me out to be the bad person, which is a Darvo tactic, which is a part of that domestic violence coercive control dynamic.
I'm really glad that you are not only, educating me in this, but educating my audience and anybody who, comes across this channel and listens and sees this, because everything you're saying is super important and really needs to be in the back of our minds so that we're aware of these things. Again, it might not be necessarily easy to spot every little thing, but there's these, like Hope has said, there's these little signs that like, well, wait a minute. But yeah, for people like to say the you comment and to put it on you, that just is really infuriating, when in reality it's you're the victim. You shouldn't be made to be, you or any other victim shouldn't be made to be berated that you allowed it to happen. That's so infuriating. But in the fact that so many people ask that is society needs they need a lesson. They need a lesson.
That's why we're spreading awareness. That's why we're doing this, right? To make it aware to them. And you just got to keep doing it over and over again until somebody like listens and pays attention.
Oh gosh, for real. Oh gosh, goodness. So you talked about what happened when your husband harmed the kids and took their lives and took his life. And I guess because you were involved with the courts, so what did that process look like after it happened? I'm
laughing because this is great.
Question.
Oh yeah. Okay. So you want to know what happened? I'm gonna put everybody on blast. Okay.
Oh, I'm so afraid.
After everything happened and the kids passed away and Brock was gone as well, the next day, the family court judge had a hearing, and it was my attorney, the judge, Michael Valenzuela, and then Brock's an attorney from Brock's firm. It wasn't Brock's attorney himself. It was a different attorney. I'm assuming Brock's attorney either one couldn't be there or I don't know, but it was a different attorney from his firm. What we know from court video that I've seen is that this was a 10-minute hearing. It consisted of them basically saying that the divorce was voided because in the statute in Arizona, if a person dies, there obviously cannot be a divorce, right? So they threw that away. Basically, was like, this is, we're basically going to sign off on this, and there is no divorce. And the second thing was that they made the decision without my knowledge to seal my records from myself, from the public, but also myself. And I was told by my attorney that this was done for my protection. However, this was never agreed upon beforehand. I never said yes to sealing records, and I definitely didn't say yes to sealing records specifically to me because I'm the one in the file. So the records were sealed, and I didn't even know I didn't have access to the records until after, like 8 months to a year after the kids and Brock died, when I tried to access them myself and I could not. And so then the pieces started to fall into place, and I started to realize those records weren't sealed for my protection. Those records were sealed because the family court system tried to hide what they did wrong and that they were negligent in this case. There was red flag after red flag after red flag from the judge in his rulings and from how he wrote his reports and not giving clarification inside temporary orders or any of his, everything just seemed rushed. It was nothing he ruled on seemed thought out. And then my attorney, now I give blame to, because now almost 2 years out from the tragedy, I understand that he didn't do the best thing by me. As a domestic violence survivor. He knew all the stuff I went through. He had evidence of domestic violence besides the order of protection to prove that Brock was unsafe. We had mental health things that he could have put into place as evidence that he didn't. So I say that they're to blame as well as Brock's attorney. So everybody is to blame. But that day after they passed, they had this 10-minute hearing. And after they sealed the records, it's on video. They actually state, I can't believe this tragedy happened. We would have never expected it. Excuse me? You would have never expected it. You had it right in front of you that you had all of these red flags. And that's on recording. And another thing that's on recording is Brock's attorney from his firm actually tried to speak about what happened to Alec and Lydia and Brock. And the attorney actually said, oh, no, we don't need to talk about that, because he didn't want it on the record for what happened.
Oh my God.
This is all in court recordings that I have access to now. So
I'm shocked you had access to that.
Yeah, after the files were unsealed, I was able to have some friends help me get the files that I needed. And I, through all of this, through everything that we're going to talk about later with legislation and everything, just God has been opening up so many doors to let certain people come into my life to help me on this path, because I wouldn't have known any of this information even a year ago. So the information that I have now is just insane. So, yeah.
So your attorney that you had at the time, from what you've been able to unseal and kind of hear of what happened, did he try to argue against it being sealed at all, or did he just allow it to happen?
He's the one that requested it.
Your attorney was.
My attorney, without my permission. I 100%, I mean, I know I had grief brain, my kids just died, but I have a really good memory. Like, I remember things like crazy, even with the grief. I still remember things like all the time. And I swear to God that I never gave him permission to seal the records. And if I gave him permission to seal the records, it definitely wouldn't be to seal the records from the public and me.
Right.
It would have been just to the public. Why were they sealed from me? So that was the thing that baffled us was, okay, we understand the public. I was kind of talking to some other attorneys that helped me unseal the records. We kind of understood the public side. Maybe they wanted to cover their butt and not have the media get a hold of everything, because the media was already getting a hold of some things before they sealed it. And so we understand that part. But to seal it for me as a person on the file, whose case it was, whose children it was, it just doesn't make any sense. I have to only believe, and that's my belief. I don't know. This is my opinion, that they didn't want me to start talking about it either.
Right. Well, little did they know the powerhouse that you were going to become.
I know. They're like, oh no.
Shame on them. So you're going through, and the fact that it was the next day and it was 10 minutes. I mean, that's just atrocious.
Yep.
So you get to that point where you're trying to obtain the files. They're sealed.
Mm-hmm.
You worked with some attorneys to get it unsealed. So I guess from there, you get it unsealed. You now have access to this and all of these documents. What happens next? What do you do next with that information?
I mean, honestly, the unsealing of the records was an afterthought. So beforehand, I started to work with this attorney that helped me unseal the records regarding the Alec and Lydia Act that I've championed in Arizona.
Let's talk a bit about that. What can you tell my audience? What is the Alec and Lydia Act?
Yeah, so the Alec and Lydia Act is two separate bills. One of the bills actually passed and got through the House. The other bill we're still working on to be able to have it heard next session, which would be next year. But the Alec and Lydia Act, the original Alec and Lydia Act, was like a 30-page bill. And it included everything that I had gone through and everything that that failed me in my case. So it included behavioral health. It included mental illness. It included domestic violence, coercive control, strangulation, all of these things. And so as we were working on the bill, we realized that, okay, we can't have this huge bill because it's going to get like vetoed. It's not going to go through. So then we started taking apart the bill and making smaller individual bills based on this main bill. So we had a behavioral health bill, and we had a domestic violence and coercive control bill, and we had all these other little bills. And so the Alec and Lydia Act is the domestic violence and coercive control bill. And it is a bill that will make Arizona one of the first states to acknowledge coercive control as a tactic of abuse. And it also states that the judges will have to look at the whole family picture and as much evidence as possible before placing a child with either parent because of there might be domestic violence history, right? And so that is the HB 2995, the Alec and Lydia Act, that just passed the House floor, 52 to 0 votes. So 52 yeses to 0 nays. So unanimously. And then next year, we're going to still continue to work on the behavioral health bill that will focus on behavioral health and what the family courts have to do in regards to that. If there's any sort of involuntary or voluntary hospitalization, they have to look at all of the records, and they have a checklist to go through and make sure that everything is good to go before that parent has access unsupervised with those children. They'll have supervised contact in the bill if they have diagnosed severe mental illness like psychosis, schizophrenia, and we are going to tie it to domestic violence, right? Because we know that mental health on its own is not dangerous. It's when it's coupled with previous domestic violence history is when it becomes lethal. And that's what research has told us over and over again. So we're going to make sure that that's in the bill specifically, is that it's not just a behavioral health bill. We're not going to say everybody with mental health is not going to be able to see their kids. We're going to make it so that if there's a history of domestic violence coupled with severe mental illness, we're going to look at all of those pieces. So that's what we're going to do next session.
I mean, that is incredible work that you have done going forward to try to make a difference and make an impact so that this does not happen again. And I will say, your social media, as well as, I talk about it all the time on this channel, the girls group chat, which you are an amazing part of, like leading up to this, the Alec and Lydia Act. It was, Rachel and Heather, where it was like every single day leading up, like, this is what's happening, like any little update, like our whole group chat was on alert for this. And when it passed, oh my gosh. My gosh.
And I was there. And so I didn't know all the people that were watching online. Rachel was watching and recording stuff for social media posts. Like, again, there is nothing that I ever can do to say thank you to Rachel enough for what she does for me, not only for Voices Against Filicide podcast, but all of the advocacy of filicide awareness and legislative reform, anything to do with my story. Heather as well, but Rachel is really like my ride or die with it. She's my person that does all of those social media posts. She will listen and record all kinds of stuff that I don't even know that she's doing, and then she'll post it. So it's amazing. Thank you, Rachel, if you're listening.
She's going to cry. She's going to hear we love Rachel. We love Rachel. She does amazing things. You and Rachel teaming up. Heather as well, but you got a powerhouse. You guys are a powerhouse, like in the best way.
We're making change. Get ready for all of the events coming up. Rachel has helped me create stickers, create wristbands, create tablecloths, banners, like flyers, like everything you can think of. Like, if it wasn't for Rachel, I would not be prepared for any of the conventions we're going to.
Oh, we're gonna talk about the conventions. Don't you worry. Oh my gosh, so exciting for the things you have coming up. But so everybody can stay tuned for the next part of the, Alec and Lydia Act next year. Do you know when next year that's going to be?
It will be in the session again next year. So I think we started submitting bills in January. And then the sessions start in end of January, February. But still stay tuned for the Alec and Lydia Act, like the one that's going through right now, because it still has to go through the Senate floor. Once it goes to the Senate committee, I don't know how that's going to work if I'm going to go to all these other things, but we're going to make it work. I have to fly back to Arizona and speak in front of the Senate committee, which is basically the first step, and it has to get voted on before it goes to the the Senate floor. So Senate committee, Senate floor, and then it will go to the governor is the last step. So we've made it through the House committee and the House floor. Now we're on to the Senate committee.
Oh my goodness.
There's lots of steps.
Lots of steps.
Lots of steps.
I have all of Hope's information in the drop-down bar below. So not only can you keep up with it on her social media, but again, we'll be sharing that as well over on my Instagram and whatnot as well. So that everybody's in the loop about that, because it is very, very important work that is being done here right now. Yeah. So we need all eyes on it.
And it does it goes very quickly. The biggest place that you guys could support and help with is the social media platforms for Hope in the Pain, because those are the ones that I update every single day with updates on legislation, updates with my book, all of that. So if you want current, like hour to hour updates, it's my social media. So.
And she ain't joking. Hour to hour updates. Like you are so good at social media. And I mean that in the best respective way possible. Like you get content out there, like everybody's aware of what's going on because you are getting
especially
it out there.
With the Alec and Lydia Act, with the Arizona stuff, and especially with the book and stuff. Those are huge pieces of our awareness campaign for filicide. So I have to make sure, and especially with the legislation, that stuff goes so fast. Like I was actually, I was supposed to go to the House of Representatives committee a week prior than I did. And about 12 hours before I was supposed to get on a plane, I got a phone call from Representative Rachel Keschel saying, "Oh, can we actually see you here next week, not tomorrow?" And I was like, "You do realize that I already booked my flight? Like I'm leaving in 12 hours on a plane to come to Arizona." And so I had to cancel and reschedule my flight. Like that's how crazy legislation is. It changes hour to hour.
Oh my goodness.
It's a whole different world.
Ugh. So again, everybody needs to follow Hope on Instagram so that you get the real-time updates of what's going on, because it's very, very important work that is being done here. So you mentioned as well, and I know we briefly talked about it, and if I'm jumping over too fast and missing anything, please let me know.
No, you're fine.
But the book that you have that just came out. So tell us a bit about, I mean, obviously I want everybody to get the book, so don't give it all away, Hope. But what made you think that was the next step? Like, how did this come to fruition, and what was the process like for you now being an author?
Yeah, that's insane when you say that. It still hasn't.
Isn't that wild? I am so happy for you.
It still hasn't sunk in that I'm an author. And yeah, so I guess where it came from was I started my social media and I knew that there was such an impact with my story online. And I was like, okay, there's so much on social media I can't share because of the way that platforms are ran and you get flagged for certain things. So I was like, okay, I'm going to put it in a book. And so this story, There's Still Hope, A Journey of Adversity, Tragedy, and Unshakable Faith, is not just about what happened to Alec and Lydia, but it is about key points in my life that have shaped me to be the person I am today. So it starts off with my birth that wasn't a normal birth. It starts off with family tragedy, not related to Alec and Lydia. It goes through my childhood. It's a memoir. It's just a short memoir. You can get through it in like a day. So it's a really good read. It's a page turner. My hybrid publisher that I worked with said that this is his favorite project yet this year and last year to work on. It's such important work that we're doing. So it talks about my whole journey. Like I said, my childhood, and then my high school years, college years, getting married, all of the milestones, right? And it talks about everything. And then it dives really deep into topics like domestic violence. I get asked all the time what my hardest chapter in the book was to write. And I would say chapter 6 and chapter 7, because especially chapter 7, I had to really dive deep into the content and be real and raw. And everything in the book is real and raw, but chapter 7 is very, very real and raw. And I had a difficult time writing it because then I kept thinking in my head, well, should I put that in there? Should I take that out? Is that too much? But I knew I had to be real and raw and honest, because if somebody is reading this book and going through a dark time, they need these real life examples of what I went through, because I know that when I went through my journey to finally come out the other side and realize that I needed to leave the marriage, I needed to have actual examples from individuals who went through a similar situation.
Yeah.
Same thing with later on in the book, I talk about grief and how that looked like for me. I talk about my faith. That is a big part of the book, is my faith. My faith is really important to me. It is what drives everything. It is what I do every single day. I don't believe that things happen by happenstance. I believe that everything, especially in my case, what the enemy meant for evil, God will turn it to good. And I 100% believe that in any case, but specifically in my case, because I've seen it over and over again where things shouldn't happen positively the way that they happened. And it's because of God. It's because Alec and Lydia are looking down and opening doors for me and closing doors. Not every door is open.
Oh, like this book, I mean, okay. I'm excited to get my hands on it and read it and talk about it on the channel, because y'all know I'm going to do that. But so much important information that's going to be out there, and such relatable information that's going to be there for so many people who maybe need that, or is going to read it and be like, oh my gosh, that's me. Like key points of that because we see that so much with so many aspects of life. It's like you don't realize you're that thing or going through that until you hear somebody else and you're like, wait a minute, that's me.
Yeah.
Just that, those moments of realization. But
yeah,
I'm really happy that you made that decision, that artistic decision as an author. Oh my gosh, I love saying that you're an author.
Oh, insane. I had to put it in my bio now that I'm an author. And I'm like, this is weird. Like when I get introduced, they're going to say author, podcast host, advocate. Like I just keep adding. I'm like, this is so weird.
You earned it. You earned it. But to make those, because you could have not made all of those, hard to discuss aspects of your life. You could have chosen to leave things out, but for you to say no, it's going in there. People need to hear it.
On the back of my book, it says, this book is not what does it say? This book is not a book of platitudes. It's a book of real, raw emotion and situations. It's not platitudes. It's not like, oh, sunshine and rainbows. Like, yes, I'm a happy person. I smile a lot. I laugh. But my journey is not a journey of sunshine and rainbows all the time. Can I say that I've seen sunshine and rainbows? Is rainbows one of the signs that I get from Alec and Lydia? Yes, but that is not my full journey. And I wanted to be honest with that, especially because in some of the categories in Amazon, this is listed under a Christian book. And I wanted to make sure, especially with the Christian community and the faith-based community, that they understand that grief is not all like, oh, well, they're in heaven now, they're fine. Like, no. There's a lot more of different emotions to that than, okay, they're in heaven, they're safe, they're in their glorified bodies. Yes, I understand those things, and I totally believe that. But there's so much more emotion that goes into that, so much more thought behind it.
Right. Absolutely. And not everybody who's going through grief, or especially the type of grief that you have / are still going through, could do each of the things, like each step of the things that you've done and continue to do. Each thing alone, not everybody could have, I don't want to say the strength, because that's not the right word, but to have that ability to do that coming out of something so dark and so painful. It would be understandable if somebody didn't have it to do those things, but you continue to make all of these actions and all of these advocacy journeys come to fruition, which is, it's just a testament to you and to who you are. And you, like you said, you do have, and I said it, you have that amazing smile and that wonderful laugh that I got to that everybody here is getting to see tonight, but also I got to see firsthand at CrimeCon last year. But that's just a little piece to you. There's so much more. And I think for people to read this book and get that full picture, like you were saying, of all of the things you've experienced, it's really, people need that full aspect of who you are and what you've gone through.
Yeah. I think that the one thing I wanted to share about CrimeCon last year is, it was in October and I was, over a year out from my grief, but still in it in a lot of ways. And CrimeCon, I didn't know what to expect. I went, and like you said, I was on a mission, but the amount of, I don't even know how to say this, the amount of calmness that I had during that weekend, it was like a peace that surpasses all understanding. I was at peace with being there. I wasn't sad. I was excited to get this mission out because I knew that it was a part of Alec and Lydia's legacy. It is a part of my path now to keep fighting for them, even though they're not here. And in their names, I'm continuing to fight for children that are here before it's too late.
Yeah. Two of the points that Beckham had said earlier on, that I just want to, Beckham, who was there with us as well last year, and he says there was so much advocacy for people at CrimeCon, and he also added CrimeCon was eye-opening in sense of advocacy for many issues and cases. And yeah, that last year was Beckham's first CrimeCon as well, and he got to see that firsthand as well, obviously from a different perspective than you had. But it's a CrimeCon is what there's so many things to it, and some people have the wrong idea of what CrimeCon is. But the fact that was your first one and you had such a good, positive experience and took away so much from it, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was a very great experience. And I got connected with so many individuals like yourself and so many other podcasters and, media personnel, like with big media. And it was amazing to have those experiences. And yeah. And I thank you so much for all of your compliments and how well I'm doing, but I'm going to go back to, it's not me. It's my God. it's, I couldn't do this without him. And I know that sounds trite, but it's totally, it's true. I have no idea sometimes what I'm doing. I still feel like such an imposter all the time.
No, oh my gosh.
Like, especially with like legislation and the podcast. I mean, honestly, with everything that I'm doing, I mean, how did I write a book? Like, like how did I articulate all of my words and write a book? So
even hearing you talking about like the political aspect of, this legislation and what you're trying to do, hearing you talking about step by step, I'm like, okay, Hope, sure. That sounds like the right steps. Okay. But like you're just boom, 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 boom. Here's the way it goes. Like you've been, you sound exactly like a professional that what you're doing for every step of what you need to get done.
It's a learning process, right? And I'm so grateful for so many people that have been in my corner to teach me, right? Because I was, like I said, a teacher beforehand, and I could like do everything IEP related, evaluation related, special ed related. But as soon as you threw me in all of this, I mean, at the very beginning, I want to kind of go back. The very beginning in August of 2024 or July of 2024, my brother-in-law was like, you should start a social media platform. He owns his own business, not related to social media, but he knows what he's doing. And I trust his opinion. And so I was like, yeah, start my own social media. Like, I'm not going to do that. So I like said, oh yeah, sure. And I like filed it in the back of my head. And about a month later, I'll remember August 4th, 2024, I started the Hope and the Pain social media channels. And specifically my TikTok blew up. And one of my videos, I have over 1 million views. So I would never have expected the amount of support that I have on any of the platforms, let alone, I mean, TikTok is just, all of them are amazing. But I had no idea what I was doing. I literally was sitting in this chair and I have my camera up And I literally just be talking. Like, it's nothing special. I'm not one of those influencers that are like, let me show you the day in the life. I'm like, I don't know how to do that. So I'm just going to talk to you. And that's what I did. So, and it really resonated with people.
That's incredible. That is amazing. Amazing. But your journey of spreading awareness, it is not even close to done. You have a lot of things coming up this year. So
a lot.
Let the people know where you're going to be, what events you have going on, where people, where can people find you this year?
Okay. So the first event is Beyond the Crime Convention in Albuquerque, New Mexico. It's Saturday, April 11th, Sunday, April 12th. I will be there at the Voices Against Filicide booth in the expo hall selling my book, and you can get an autographed copy. I'm bringing actual books to the event to sell. And so I can sign it right there in front of you. I don't know why somebody would want my signature, but I'm going to do it if you want me to.
I told you backstage, I'm going to be one of those people. So,
so that I have the greatest opportunity with Beyond the Crime. I'm not just going at the expo hall. I'm going to be a speaker. Brandy Morey-Poles and myself are going to host a panel about filicide crimes. And I think it's called Now I Lay Thee Down to Sleep, I think is the name of how they titled the session, which is very interesting. I love the title. It's kind of a play on words, because they are because they passed away and now they're sleeping in heaven, and they have glorified bodies. So I am so excited to talk with Brandy Morey-Poles and do this panel. It's going to be very laid back. It's going to be very informational for the audience. I was told that the audience will be able to ask questions right there on the spot after. And there also is going to be a meet and greet session with Brandy Morey-Poles and myself. The next event is in May 11th here in Michigan. So if you're in Michigan, please come. This one is very special to me. I have created my own event, and it will be at Kensington Church, Lake Orion in Michigan on May 11th at 6:30. Doors open, starts at 7 p.m. It is going to be a night for women ages 18 plus. And we're going to be talking about those hard topics within the church environment, like domestic violence, coercive control, what those look like, what people in the community can do to help people from, it's not just a church event, so people outside of the community can come. I'm very blessed. We have partnered with Haven, which is a domestic violence shelter here in Oakland County in Michigan. And they are going to come and bring some of their people so that if there is women on the spot that need assistance, they can give that assistance right then and there. Mm-hmm. And so this is huge because it's not just I'm speaking at this event. I have created it I co-created it with my friend Sarah Cooney. So it's just such a heart mission for both of us because we've both gone through domestic violence just in very different ways. And so we built this night together, and it's the first annual event, and I hope it continues from there because I believe that it's going to help so many women in the community and across Michigan.
Absolutely.
The next event is Crime Con, and that is May 29th through the 31st. I can't believe I'm pulling these dates out of my head.
I'm impressed.
On May 29th through the 31st in Las Vegas at Caesar's Palace. I will be there in the expo hall with Voices Against Filicide, selling my book again. And I will be there and talking and spreading advocacy for the Alec and Lydia Act, for Voices Against Filicide movement and podcast, and for my book. And then I will also be in September at AdvocacyCon back in Albuquerque, New Mexico, September 11th through 13th. and I will be there, and I actually get to speak at that one as well. And that one's advocacy driven. So I'm very excited for that one to talk to a bunch of advocates, and Brandy and I will be speaking as well on stage for that event and have a booth there, each of us. And Brandy will be at all of these events as well. She will be promoting the Rowan Project and the Rowan Act.
You know, each one of you and Brandy are each like such a, I feel like I've said this word 20 times now, a powerhouse. The two of you combined.
Yeah.
The possibilities like are
watch out. Watch out. We're coming.
For real. For
Yeah.
real. What the two of you women have accomplished and just continue. It's such good work, and it's such important work that you both do. And when you get together, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I can't wait.
It's more powerful at events like that when there's more than one person that has gone through something, right? And so the audience can see that, right? Our stories are similar in ways, but our stories are also different, right? I was getting a divorce, and she was already, it was Rowan's biological father, and they were never together in a relationship, in a marriage. So it's two very different, vastly different things. But we complement each other. I think honestly, our personalities complement each other. I literally laugh so much when I'm with Brandy and Rachel. Like they bring so much sunshine to my life because I literally can't stop laughing. So.
And it's also like, again, there's those moments of somebody hearing your story or hearing Brandy's and making that connection that they haven't before, where it's like, oh my gosh, I've been through this. I'm going through this. And those moments of realization that are just so important. So to have, like you said, more than one person to hear their story and to be able to identify and hear that these are important things that are being discussed. It's just so valuable. It's so valuable what you guys are doing. And
thank you.
I'm honored that I get to be there and witness it.
I'm honored that I get to be there. Again, imposter syndrome. I'm still like, oh my gosh, I got invited to all these events. Like, what's happening?
So Hope just gave a whole lot of places in a whole bunch of different states. So for any viewers who are listening and watching this, and if you're in that area, go support.
And then can we talk about Crime Story? Brandy will be there. Can you, because you're from there, so Brandy will be there for the Rowan Project, speaking at Crime Story. I think it's in October, right?
Yes, and my memories, I know the dates, but now that I'm like on the spot, I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to say them wrong. So let me pull up the calendar. So Crime Story Fest, there's like a little commercial that Travis made that I played at the beginning of each of my shows. So that is here in Massachusetts, and that is October 9th through 11th. So it's the holiday weekend, and it's here in Danvers, Massachusetts, which is like, depending on traffic, 35 minutes north of Boston. And it's the first annual Crime Story Fest. And Brandy will be there. Like you said, are you able to speak, Hope, on a little bit about what Brandy will be doing there? Or
yeah, so she's good. I mean, I'm sure she'll be fine with me speaking on her behalf. We speak on each other's behalf all the time. So Brandy will be speaking at the event on Amber Alerts and the Rowan Act, and that's been passed so far through the House in the state of Michigan. It's now on its way to the Senate. So hopefully by Crime Story Fest, it will be passed and all the way to the governor's desk as an actual law. So that's the hope, and we're praying for that, and we know that it's going to happen. As far as the Rowan Act, that got passed unanimously as well in the Michigan House, and she spoke at the House committee as well in Michigan.
Amazing, absolutely amazing work that she's been doing as well. So she will be there at Crime Story Fest. So anybody who is in the Massachusetts area or planning to come, because let's be honest, it's October and Danvers is right next to Salem. Like, make a trip out of it. Come see Crime Story Fest. Make a trip out of Boston and Salem, and come here and see. Not, there's gonna be so many content creators, but yeah, to see Brandy there and to get more information from her, and to hear her speak, her booth. It's amazing opportunity. So I'm bummed that you won't be there.
I'm supposed to be there, according to Travis. I'm supposed to be there in 2027. So hopefully I will be there next year. And to be honest, that's a lot of events. So I was like, oh, I'm okay that like I can't make it to Crime Story. Like I'm good because I have 4 events, plus I'm doing all kinds of podcasts and stuff for the book. So, and I will let you guys know it's in the works. So hopefully it works out, but I'm supposed to be on a podcast in Nashville. I think it's called, Not Just the Monster or something like that. Something with monster. Hold on. Let me look it up so I can get the right podcast. Hold on. See, I forgot one thing, Danny. I'm usually
you're allowed to forget with everything you're juggling. Oh my gosh.
Hold on. I'm very excited for this one because I actually get to go in person. All of my podcasts have been.
That's exciting. Have you been to Nashville before?
No.
Oh.
All of my podcasts have been like through the, internet. So it is Beyond the Monsters podcast.
Oh, that's exciting.
So it's Beyond the Monsters, and they cover stories of survival and like that kind of stuff, advocacy, all the things that are in my wheelhouse they cover. So, yeah.
And are you recording that and doing that this year as well?
Yeah, that's supposed to be in April. So I'm going to be busy.
Oh, right in the middle of everything. Jeez.
Right in the middle of everything. So that's not set in stone yet, but I hope that comes to fruition. I'm putting it out into the ether. So hopefully it will come back to me.
And all these great things that she's talking about, all these opportunities that she's having in all these podcasts she's doing, all these events she'll be at. Again, she posts everything on social media. She's not joking. When I say hour by hour updates, I mean hour by hour. So follow all of that to get all of where Hope is and where you can find all of these, all the interviews she's doing, all the events she'll be at. There's so many. And honestly, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I am so proud of you. So in awe of you and how you've navigated this incredibly tragic journey to get to where you are. Yeah. I commend you. There's no words for the amount of strength that you exhibit and continue to exhibit every single day.
Thank you so much. Thank you for just everything, having me on. And I just love podcasts. I love listening to podcasts. I love being interviewed with podcasts. I have such a passion for talking about this stuff because it really impacted me in my life. I should still in another world be a teacher with 2 children. I might be, a single parent, but at that point I didn't care. I had all of this life ahead of me. And unfortunately it changed in literally a minute.
That was one of the things that we mentioned backstage before we went live when I said, like, I'm so fortunate and honored to have met you, but I wish our paths didn't have had to cross.
Yeah.
But yeah. I will say that having you come into, being under Rachel's wing is just,
again, she's amazing.
Amazing. And if she's listening to this, she's probably going to start crying again. But to have you a part of, and I know I talk about it all the time, but like, I'm so grateful for it. Our group chat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's just like I honestly feel like to connect with the podcast group of girls that we have and our group chat and the amount of support that you have. And, even when you're saying your book's coming out and you're like, you're so, oh my gosh, you were so humble too. Cause you could have been like, author Hope would like to, like, you were just like,
I would never do that.
We're just like, of course we all want you. Like, we are all here to support you. Like,
I know.
It's like
and I thank you so much.
The best way.
I mean, because before this, I didn't know. I mean, I listened to podcasts, but I didn't personally know podcasters. So, just like I said, the outreach of support through, I mean, I've been on Truly Twisted and Perplexity. I've been on The Interview Room. I've been on Like Mother Like Murder. I've, been on, there's so many others, guys. If I'm missing your podcast, please go to my website, which is I know you have the Linktree link somewhere.
All in the drop down bar.
Yeah, if it's in the drop down bar. So go there, and there's a tab in our actual website that Rachel created. Rachel created the whole website for Brandy and I. So there's a drop down bar, and it's a whole bar that has resources and interviews that both Brandy and I have been on.
And that's going to get, you might go today and see all the interviews she's done. Go a week from now. Go 2 weeks from now. There's going to be a whole lot more, for real.
Rachel's going to be like, okay, Hope, got to slow down with the podcast.
Her busy. She needs to stay out of trouble, that Rachel.
She's so busy already.
So was there anything, Hope, that we didn't cover that I want to make sure that you get out there? Was there anything that I missed?
Yeah, I just really want to make sure that people really go and get my book. And I really want to stress, and I don't like to do this, and Rachel knows because I don't like to even do it for the podcast, but me having to post all the time, it's because I'm trying to get the book out there to anyone and everyone, because I'm a independent author. So I had a hybrid publisher who helped me take my writing and create the cover, but I have to push the book. So if you read the book, have your coworkers read it, have your brothers or sisters buy the book, people at your work, at a restaurant. I literally told my friend today, when you go to your restaurant with your family, since you're getting my book anyways out of your mailbox, just keep it in your car, then give it to your, waitress and be like, hey, my friend Hope wrote a book. You want to go buy it? Like literally, it's hustle, hustle, hustle. That is how this message is going to get out there. The same thing with the podcast, guys. We love the podcast. We really do. But Rachel and I want it to grow so much more. And we only can do that if you are helping us do that by listening. There are so many amazing episodes, especially in season 2, that talk about so many things that, like we talked about here, are red flags, but we go into so much more detail. And I have professionals who work in those fields that actually can talk. You say that I talk well, but if you listen to this podcast, they explain it so much so in so great detail in layman's terms, so everybody can understand and watch for the red flags.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all,
please go support. That's all I have to say.
When we're done with the live, exit out, do all the things. Follow everything that Hope just said. Subscribe to the podcast. Order your book, because we will be doing a book review on Hope's book. I'm very much looking forward to it too.
Yay! Awesome.
So yeah,
I think that you're really gonna like it.
Follow social media social media is so important too, because then there's all those things where you're doing all these interviews and people can see where you're, what's going to come out and download and make sure to support you in that way too. So a lot of opportunities. And guess what? I made it easy for everyone. Everything to follow Hope is in the drop down bar below. The Amazon link where you can purchase her book. The link tree that it has everything there. So
and who created that? Let's say it together. Rachel.
Rachel.
Literally, I'm not tech savvy. I'm like, Rachel, help.
We should have made a game at the beginning of the show tonight. How many times did we say Rachel? No, we love Rachel's amazing. You guys connecting. Perfection.
Yeah, thank you.
So I have one last question for you, Hope. I asked this out of all of my guests. I am a cat mom of 6. This is a very pet-friendly community. Do you have any pets currently?
I do. I have a mini schnauzer. Her name is Joy. She is 2 years old. She is TikTok and Instagram like worthy. She's been in viral videos. She actually was naughty yesterday and chewed. I have these bracelets. I'll show you that again. Rachel and I created, and it says "Hope in the Pain" or "Hope in the Pain," and then on the back it says Proverbs chapter 3 verses 5-6, and then this one is the one Joy actually chewed this yesterday. So this is the Voices Against Filicide wristband. She didn't chew this one, but I had to go get another one because she chewed the other one. So I was in an interview yesterday and I saw her laying on the floor of my bedroom and I was like, oh, that's weird. Like she's laying in the sun, but that's weird. She never usually does that. I walk over after the interview and she has this bracelet chewed. Like there's no bracelet. It's all like little pieces, like tiny little pieces. She probably swallowed about half of it. So yeah. And then I sent a text message to people like, hey, she just chewed my bracelets. Is this okay? Do I need to take her to the vet? And they're like, no, she's okay. Okay.
Gosh. Oh
So, yes,
my gosh.
Joy is my dog. I love her to death. I got her 2 months before the kids passed away. It was one of the things that I wanted to do for them. And they got to have Joy for 2 months before they went to heaven. And they named her Joy. And then Alec named her, her middle name is Angel. So Joy Angel. So.
Oh my gosh, that is beautiful.
So.
Yeah, I love how you say that after you basically say how naughty she was the other day, but you know.
No, she is a great dog. I mean, honestly, like I love her to death. And she, like, when I go to all these events and all these conventions, my sister and her family will watch her. And I always like, you know, I'm like, I don't ever want to, because of a part of the abuse and stuff, I never want to be a burden to people. And so I always, even though it's my sister, I'm like, are you sure it's okay if you watch her? Are you sure? Are you sure? And she's like, yes. She's like, we don't want to give her back. We want to keep her.
Oh,
so
that's amazing. Yeah. So I just, before we sign off, we had a friend sneak in the chat here, Kylie.
Hi, Kylie.
Crime. We love Kylie. So Kylie will actually be on the show on Thursday night. So yeah.
I'm actually recording with Kylie in a couple days.
Amazing. God love when great minds get together. But Kylie says, love this interview, ladies. Sorry I wasn't in the chat, but I was here the whole time while I was cleaning and getting my life together.
That's
Girl,
awesome.
Been there, done that every day.
Yep.
That's amazing. Thank you, Kylie, for supporting Hope. So thank you again so much, Hope, for being here tonight. I really appreciate it. And again, I'm in awe of what you do. I am so honored and thankful that I have been able to meet you and have you in my life. And again, anything you need, you know, if you want anything spread on this platform, it is yours. You have an open invitation. Anything you need. If you're like, Danny, we got some important stuff coming on. I need to come on and talk about it. Girl, okay. You're here.
Awesome.
You're here. And if you want to bring your sidekick Rachel, feel free. But now that you're an author, you're up there. So
Rachel doesn't like to talk about herself anyway. She always refers to me in the podcast of, you know, this is what Brady's doing. This is what Hope is doing. This is what Voices Against Filicide is doing. She never talks about herself.
She's so humble. No, she's amazing. We love Rachel. So again, anything I can do to share, Hope,
yes,
I'm more than happy to do so.
Thank you.
So again, you guys can see that on my Instagram. What, you know, if anything Hope is posting, I can share, but do one even better. Follow Hope yourself. All of the links are in the drop down bar below, and definitely purchase her new book that just came out.
Please. So, and can I say one last thing before we go?
100%.
If you purchase this week, which is release week, it is the most important because it pushes the algorithm out to more and more people. So Amazon sees the book more in the first week of sales than any other week of sales. So it is very important that it gets out to as many people as possible. And you can do that by buying it. And then once you receive the book, please go back in and leave a 5-star verified review about the book, not about me. Don't make it about me. Otherwise, Amazon's going to flag it. Make it about the book. Thank you.
Would they really they do that?
Yes.
Oh, jeez.
You can't say, oh, Hope's this wonderful person, or I've known Hope for this. They'll flag it. It has to be specifically about the book.
Good to know. Good to know. Kylie's nice little way to end it. We love you, Hope. Truer words have never been said. So thank you again so much, Hope, for being here for Danny After Dark tonight. Again, all of Hope's information is in the drop-down bar below. Thank you, everybody who tuned in tonight. And if you weren't able to see it live, thank you for catching it on replay. Have a good evening, everybody. And remember, until next time, we don't live in darkness. Darkness lives in us. Bye, everyone.